Breakfast in Barbados.
Welcome back to Breakfast in Barbados, and we're at the lovely Santosha in St. Andrew. And with me this morning is Tony Thorne. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning, Carol. How are you?
I am wonderful.
Very
and
good.
for those of you who, well, many know you, and if you don't, check out the Tony Thorne Show, and you can check it out on YouTube. But I want to talk to you about where you started from and how you got into having your own show.
Yeah.
So let's talk about where you started from.
That's fine. I moderated a regional youth episode for CMC 2 years ago. And when I concluded that, the management of CMC thought that I did a good job, so they offered me the opportunity to have my own show. And I spent the 2 years kind of doing research, looking at what kind of show I would want to do, doing focus groups. And 2 years later on, I decided to produce the show and really go full steam ahead with it.
Did you ever see yourself doing television?
When I was at school, my friends, I am very expressive, and I tend to sometimes be a drama queen. So my friends would always say, well, you just don't have your own show. Like, you know, you're always on stage. I used to be a dancer, and I used to represent Barbados in dance, and I've represented Barbados at Carrie Festa, singing, dancing, and in drama. So it was something that my close friends would say to me, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it? But the opportunity never came about. And I'm glad that it happened how it did, because it's kind of different when somebody suggests something to you, given the society that we live in, than you getting up and saying, oh, I should have my own show. Yeah.
What's the journey been like for you so far?
I have enjoyed it. Is a lot of work. People tend to see the end product. So people see the Instagram pictures, or they might hear, oh, she got to go into this fat for free to cover it, you know, but you don't see the nights that you have to be up. You don't see looking for sponsorship. You don't see getting a great team. You don't see having to manage a team, you know. You don't see those sides, but I enjoy it. And another colleague who's in the culinary arts, I heard say before this interview, if I wasn't being paid for it, I would do it. So that's how I know that what I do, what I get up every day to do, whether it's the show, the magazine, whatever, that I'm doing the right thing.
Now, you said the magazine. Tell us all about that.
Yeah, I have a magazine, and it's called Pompasset, and it comes out twice a year. And it really focuses on Caribbean and Barbadian youth culture. So we have writers that are local and across the region. I've had friends of mine that were featured in Forbes do articles as well. So the readership is definitely building. There's interest to have one in St. Kitts as well as in Bahamas. But I believe in creeping before you're crawling. So before I go over there, I'd like to kind of make some more waves in Barbados before you look to venture into other markets.
Well, this can't be easy, because I'm going back to what you said earlier when you talked about managing an entire team.
Yeah.
You know, like for me, I guess I'm really blessed where I can come and host a show, and everything else is left to someone else to put it all together.
Yeah.
So what is a typical putting a show together, one show, what is that? If you can walk us through that, what does that look like?
Okay, well, I'm not as experienced as the producer of this show, Darren, but it was a lot of learning. I think a lot of my experience for the show came from my experience with the magazine, because when I started the magazine, I had no idea how to do a magazine. And you just kind of start to say, okay, well, the basics. You need somebody to shoot, you need somebody to edit, you need somebody to direct. You need clothes, you need hair done, you need, you know, sponsorship, which is the most important thing. And the sponsors, whether it's for the magazine or for the television show, are really, really important. I know at Brayden's, I could see some of their products here, and they've been a godsend as well. So it's just kind of like a puzzle, like cooking too. It's like a puzzle, and you look at all the different pieces that you need, and eventually, if you work hard and if you really have vision and focus and commitment, all the pieces come together.
And just like, as you say, cooking,
Yeah.
you find out what things work and don't work.
Yeah,
so you
for
know
sure.
sometimes you need to take out this and add in another ingredient.
You know, some
and all
things
those
that
things.
if you put a gay person on television, that you can get cursed by some people, and some people will love it. And you know how to maneuver and really feel out who your viewership is and what people expect from the show, etc.
But what is the message that you basically want to get across with the Tony Thorne show? I mean, are you just pulling together random guests?
No.
What is it you want to achieve?
Basically, I believe that there is a definite void in Caribbean content, with Caribbean content, whether it is newspapers, magazines, television show. There isn't a platform for young people to really feel as if there's a show that they can relate to, or they can watch, or they can identify with, or they can express a view on, and that is done on the same level or with the same kind of focus as international shows that we watch. So we watch Girl Code, we watch The Rail, some of us might watch Mandy Williams, you know. So there isn't a show that really brings all of that content, popular culture, things that we may discuss, talking about Instagram, talking about boys, and then serious issues, talking about cockfighting in Barbados, the gun culture, and there isn't something that really does that for young people, and that's basically my focus, whether it's the magazine or the TV show.
Okay, so how do you decide what kind of issues to cover? Is it, you know, one major event would have happened and you decide, well, I'm going to go and do this, or in talking to
it's
other
a mixture
young
of
people?
things. So my mother is now the director of the show, because I realized that you have to have a director.
How does that work? Working with mom?
Well, I've always kind of worked with my mother, because I was in Dance in Africa and she was the head of it, and then she's a teacher and I went to school with her. So there's always like a struggle, but we work well together in the end. Always a power struggle. My mother is a very, very strong personality, but it's half and half. So let's say the new season is 13 episodes. We kind of planned out 8. And then there's some that I would go someplace and somebody might start telling me about something, and I say, oh, that's so cool, can you give me the person's contact information? So it's a mix. You plan things, but then you still leave certain things open, because you want to hear from your viewership. You want to hear what they want to watch as well.
Okay. Well, I happen to have some time to go through, not in detail, but a lot of the shows, and you've had some very interesting guests, and it's so mixed and varied. You had Dr. Hilary Beckles, you had Busy Williams, and you had Chantel Lane. How do you get that mix? I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I also had a young lady, Zonelle, that bleaches her skin, and Justin Polian, he's a national dancer, and he also does the flag at Kadooment. I think that the first thing, people need to trust the integrity of the show and the host. So, they need to, whether you're from the ghetto or whether you're from the heights, people need to trust that when they come on your show, that their story will be packaged in a way that when the thousands of people that watch television, whether it's CBC or YouTube, watch it, that is a story that they want to tell. And I think I have been blessed that persons have been willing and wanting to come on the show. So I think that's the formula, really, to have a certain level of integrity, and you could get any guest on your show. And
in that interview that you had with Chantel, she seemed very passionate about her music and some interesting information she put out there about artists, whether they want to sign, some people want to get out the labels. And I was watching you interact, you seemed very, very into it. Are some interviews easier than others?
To be fair, I am not going to come and BS and lie or anything like that. Chantel and I go way back. Chantel used to spend Christmases with me. And my mother taught Chantel for 2 years. So Chantel is a close family friend. And I think that I got a lot of people afterwards saying, wow, I've never seen Chantel, speak with such passion or say those things or voice her opinion. I'm doing this because people WhatsApp. But it comes down to the comfort. People need to feel as if they're not going to tell you A and then you're going to put out B. And people need to be able to trust you, I thought her interview was quite good. I agreed with a lot that she said. I think that a lot that she said needed to be said. Just because somebody comes on the show, that doesn't mean that I agree with everything that they say. For example, with Charlie Spice, I interviewed him. And he's the president of the Global Adult Industry Entertainment Association. And I think it's a platform to show things that people will discuss at the kitchen table, that we as a society refuse to accept that these are real life issues. We know that they're real life issues. We talk about them, we see it, but for some reason, television seems to be too special to kind of broadcast it.
I agree with you. You don't necessarily have to agree, but there are certain things that need to be dealt with anyway. And a lot of people go on hearsay as opposed to really understanding what's happening and who these people are and what these issues really mean. So I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Right. So we'll be back on Breakfast in Barbados with Toni Thorne. We have a lot more to talk about. We'll be right back.
Breakfast in Barbados. Make it great, make it Brunswick tuna. Make it great, make it Brunswick tuna.
L and there.
L and there.
L and there.
L and there. How do you L and there? Take a moment to L and there with your options of yago, fruits, and 0% fat yogurts made from real milk using real fruits.
Distributed by Supreme Distributors.
Welcome back to Breakfast in Barbados. And before I go back to Toni Thorne, Chef Tosh, we have to find out what he has in store for us. He gave us a really light breakfast with granola and yogurt and fruit, which was excellent. Toni just had some.
Yeah.
You enjoyed
Amazing.
yours? Really, really good. So, Chef Tosh.
So today you're gonna have, I'm gonna do a nice sandwich for you. I'm gonna use bagels from Purity. Then also in that sandwich is gonna be tuna from Brunswick.
Right.
And then also on the side will be a nice egg white omelette with some Colby aged cheese inside.
That sounds
Lovely.
excellent. Thank you, Chef Tosh. We're back with Toni Thorne. We've been having a wonderful conversation, and you need to check out her show, The Toni Thorne Show. And when is the new season starting? Because you're getting ready for it. Is this season 2?
This is season
Fantastic.
2 on CBC TV. And for those of you who may not get the chance to watch it on CBC at 8:02 p.m., it's on YouTube.
Okay.
So the episodes, there isn't any excuse that anybody should have for not being able to watch the show.
As much time as we spend on social media,
Yes,
right? Okay.
exactly. It's half of an hour. It's quick, easy.
All right, Toni, tell me about, with your first season doing television, basically your own show, first time, what are some of the lessons that you've learned, the biggest lessons that you learned during that first season heading into your second?
The first lesson that I learned was in terms of criticism. How you take criticism. I also have a column in the newspaper, and whether it was the show or the column, and the column actually started the same week that the television show started. And what I've learned up until today is that you cannot take on everything that people say. Constructive criticism is great, and you have to be able to decipher, what is constructive
That's
and what's
what I
just
want to
nasty.
know. How do you filter it?
I think people usually do not have a problem. Most people, this is my opinion. I think that people don't have a problem telling me how they feel about my show. I went on a cruise and a guy came up to me and he said he liked the show, but these were his issues. And it was just on a cruise, walking up and so people don't have a problem saying their opinions, and I see the good in that because it means that you're invested in it. I also appreciate the people that don't like the show but watch it every week because that's support, that's viewership. But you cannot.
Even if it's to give negative
Even if it's to give, I am very, very comfortable with people not liking me, not liking what I produce. Because if you don't like the show, the few people that don't like the show, if you don't...
Nice one, Toni. Nice one.
If you don't like the show and you're watching it every week, I appreciate you. I don't have the time to not like you or to cry about it or to feel bad about it. I appreciate it, so that's the lesson that I learned, how to really grow some duck feathers and to get a broader back. Another thing would be really working hard. I work very, very hard, and you know, when you are, as you would know, as Darren would know, when you're trying to do something in an industry that is still, for some unexplained reason, is still in its infancy, the
Very
creative
much like
industries, it is very, very hard to make a living in this space, and you have to work hard, you have to be creative. The cream will only rise to the top, so you have to know that when you coming out, that you have to come good. And even if it's a first season and you do make a mistakes, you got issues with wind, this and that's the third, the fourth, fifth, you know that the second time around you have to really top that, and you have to see your vision as the competition. You can't be distracted with what everybody else is doing. You know, your excellence has to be the standard. So those are the lessons that I've basically learned.
No, I'm not going to ask you your exact age because
No,
some
you can ask my
women
age.
don't like to. I
You
don't
can
know
ask
why.
my age. I'm 28.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you're in your 20s,
Yeah.
which is, well, late 20s.
Yeah,
and,
you
and
about
things
to
like
ask me a
that.
boyfriend question?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Don't see the need to.
Okay,
Really
okay.
don't see the need to. That's fine. Unless you want to tell us, that's
No, no.
fine. But I don't see the need to.
And Tosh your clear.
Cook, chef, cook. Just cook, all right? Cook. You keep at it. All right. Now, as a young person, because you took this back to all the work that you've been doing and youth issues and all those kinds of things. And a lot of the time, let's face it, when we look in the assizes in the paper, we are seeing young men, unfortunately,
women quite
and
recently.
women in your age group and younger, slightly older. Then there's all this negativity and all kinds of things. Apart from sitting, because some people might say, one, you're privileged, as in you come from a privileged background. We don't have to go into who your parents are, but I've actually heard that said.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
easy
a lot
for
of
you.
people have heard that said.
Yeah, it's easy for you. You probably have all the finances. What can Toni Thorne do to help the average person out there? Because you say you're passionate about youth issues, but what can you do to help make a difference where young people in Barbados first are concerned?
Well, so many points to clear up. I'll end off
So
with
little time.
Yeah, I'll end off with the privilege thing. Well, I've always been very active in youth development issues. I'm a global shaper. I'm a World Economic Forum global shaper. They choose about a couple thousand persons from all over the world to kind of address issues and to go and speak to World Economic Forum conferences. I've represented Barbados at Global Youth Leaders Conference. I've always been very passionate about global youth development, whether it's here, whether it's in the region, etc. That's actually how I got the show, because I was doing a youth episode for CMC. I believe that each of us has a place, and I believe that from my perspective, what I do, I could go in the newspaper and write every week about myself and write about where I went and how my hair is changing, but I choose to use the column to address issues that people message me, people email me and say, hey, you should do this. Same thing with the show. So I think I make a contribution, but to address another thing that you said, I think that my contribution is very seriously managed by me in terms of what I put out there is what I want to put out there, and I don't feel forced by anybody to say something or to speak about something or to come across a certain way to make other people feel comfortable. To address the thing about the privilege, it is something that from the time I could remember people would say, and I feel that perception is a great thing in Barbados. Yes, my parents are who they are, and they might even watch this and say, who are we? You know, and laugh. But my parents support me from a supportive kind of, you know, do what you have to do, you could achieve anything. A lot of people feel that they finance a lot of things that I do, they don't. I started my first business. My first business was when I was 7, a summer camp. And my second business was Boyd, which I traveled through the region.
Wait. Your first business started at 7. You
Yeah,
can't just move on from there.
I had a club. It was called Planet Club. I know we on a tight timeline, so I'm trying to think.
Oh, well, this is interesting. At 7.
Yeah, I had a summer camp I had a club called Planet Club, and I had asked my friends if they were doing anything for summer. They said no, so I decided I wanted to do a summer camp. I told my parents, and they didn't give me any money. I used my grandmother's house as the summer camp place, and I called up all the places, Atlantis, Submarines, and stuff like that. Added up the cost, divided it by how many children would be there, and called everybody's parents. They could tell you, and said, okay, well, the camp is going to be $190 for 2 weeks, and these are the things that we're going to do. So I refer that to CBC came and featured it, and I refer to that as the first business that I've done. My second business was Boik, when I had a clothing line and I would travel throughout the region, and that was because I was doing economics and accounting at UE, and I had won a business competition with that idea. But back to it's something that people say, and I used to be very concerned about, oh, people think that this and people think that. That's another thing too. Whatever people want to think, that's their...
You have to grow together.
Yeah, that's a distraction. I see it as a distraction. I see it as a very big distraction, because everybody wants to be rich, but then people still hate on the rich people. And then who are the rich people? What is rich? We got a lot of misconceptions here in Barbados that we need to deal with.
Okay.
But yeah.
2 more questions for you.
That's all right.
First one, what's coming up for season 2?
Season 2, well, a lot really. We just came out of crop over, so the first episode is going to feature summer and the fact that it's an endless summer and crop over, and there's a lot of new people say that this is the best crop over ever. And I hear that, and I want to be able to push that out, let people know, oh, crop over, there's a whole new song, there's a whole new and there are a lot of people that do different, newer things for crop over. You get people that do Botox just for crop over. You get people that lose 20, I know, it's a lot. You get people that
is a show in itself.
Yes.
Come on now.
You get people that lose massive amounts of weight for crop over. You get people that spend $7,000 to $10,000 on a costume. This is a crop over that is different from crop over 5 years ago. You have traveling air-conditioned buses could do day. You got fats that start at $250. You got $60 fat like puffer color that people were on the internet selling up to the night tickets for $300. So you want to be able, you hear these stories, but you want to be able to see these things and to see, when you bring 2 supermodels, as Fantasy Barbados did, when you bring 2 supermodels to go on the road, does it really translate into people coming here for crop over? So all of these different issues, again, goosebumps. But all these different issues are things that need to be discussed. The Trinidadianization, there's some people that think that the Trinidadian brands are taking over crop over, whereas, it might be the fault of the promoters. We probably have not evolved enough and now waiting to get up in arms. You got people that complain about BRA and the fact that you got to charge VAT on invitations. You have so many different, a dying tent culture. Is it really dead? All these different things that people discuss. And
there are lots of issues there. You could do. You said 13 episodes are coming.
Yeah, but
you could do 13 episodes
on that alone. It's true. It's true.
And finally, you've done so much. Started at 7 with your little summer camp and organizing things. Now you have your own show. You're doing the column.
Yeah.
What else are you looking at doing?
Well, I finished my law degree this year, and I think that because I work for myself, I'm able to control my time. So I might go to law school next year, and depends on how things go. I the beginning of every year, I go through a list of all the things that I would like to do before, if I had to die, what I would like to do.
Your little bucket list.
Yeah, it's a bucket list. Every year I do a bucket list, and that's how I live my life, basically. List 10 things that you want to do this year, tick them off, and then wait till the next year, tick them off, and then I don't have any long-term plans like
well,
that.
you see, now you said that, and that was supposed to be the last question.
Yeah.
But since you do a bucket list of 10 things basically that you want to do for the year, how much have you done this year?
I would say that I'm probably on track to do all 10 of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Most unusual one?
The most unusual one. Let me think. That's a hard one. What's the most unusual one? I think that they're pretty practical. I can't. Oh yeah, it's not even unusual to be able to know how to do my own face, like to make up my own face. I am very. I'm not good at hair. I'm not good at makeup.
Ding ding.
So I am actually a very hot mess when it comes to those things. So something like that. But I can't say that there were any unusual things really.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Breakfast in Barbados with David Barker. He's our mixologist. He's going to do a fantastic shake for us. And Tony and I are going to have a bit of breakfast as well.
Of course.
We'll be back.
Breakfast in Barbados.
MIS spices have been flavoring the pots of Barbadians for over 25 years. Available island-wide at all leading supermarkets, MIS spices come in a wide variety of flavors, like black pepper, Cajun spice, bacon bits, crushed chili flakes, coriander powder, cumin powder, curry powder, basil leaves, celery salt, and blackened spice. Celebrity chefs and mixologists use MIS spices to enhance the flavor of their creations. MIS products, making it special for you.
We're back with mixologist David Barker, and he has something special for us. So tell us what you're doing, David.
Well, the drink is to complement for breakfast, full of antioxidants, full of flavor, and I got some beta carotene I'm going to add into. It's called the hidden vegetable.
Okay.
So you know sometimes like the kids don't want to drink a smoothie or don't want anything with vegetables. Well, this is the perfect smoothie. It has a color that doesn't necessarily mean that it's carrot.
Hence
But
the
in the-
hidden vegetable, right?
But in the same process, all of these ingredients kids love, everybody loves, and they're good for you at the end of the day. Fresh fruits along with the Dimes juices that I'm using, which is 100% juice. These combined together makes a perfect smoothie.
Okay,
so
great.
You can help me?
Sure.
Yeah? Sure?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah? All right, all we're doing is putting everything in the blender.
Everything?
Yes. So you have the apple,
So that's like one apple.
which is one whole apple, pitted, cored, and peeled. All right, pop that in. And this is one pear,
Cool.
pitted, cored, and peel.
So I get to pop mine in,
Yeah,
right?
pop pears in.
Okay,
All right.
wouldn't go full pop.
Yeah.
So you.
Don't worry, we can just knock that out. Yeah. All right. Then right after, we got some fresh pineapple, and this is what is going to hide the flavor itself of
Okay.
the carrot, and finally a whole carrot. All right. Now, I can go ahead and blend it, but it wouldn't come together. You need a liquid in order to make a smoothie. You need a liquid or a liquid form product in order to bring them together.
Okay.
The pineapple and the apples are going to act as a emulsification agent, and then this will come all together with ice. All right.
Yep.
Good. So we add about 3 ounces of apple juice and ice.
I always thought you used to put the ice in first and then everything on
don't
top.
have
Does
to.
it make a difference?
It doesn't. The blender does the job.
Okay.
So I blended everything. It's going to come together with the fruits and the vegetables so that everything's emulsified. You ready to try it already?
She's like a kid in a candy store, right?
All right, get this off the blender.
And no sugar. That's
No
what I like
sugar
about it. No
added.
sugar.
All right. I'll make 2 of them. One for you.
That looks so good. And this is like perfect for that person who needs kind of breakfast
go.
on the go. I like this.
Yes,
breakfast
it's
on
like
the go.
breakfast on the go. So even if you didn't have your breakfast in the morning, that's packed with a lot of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, everything you need to at least get your part through the day.
Fantastic. So we put this to the test now.
Take
The
it,
hidden
take it.
vegetable. That's actually really good.
It's really good.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Rogers?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, David. This is absolutely amazing. And we have Chef Tosh with breakfast. So tell us again what you prepared.
Right, we have ourselves a bagel here. The cinnamon, you having the cinnamon let me exchange because you wanted the cinnamon
Yes,
raisin.
thank you.
Right, the cinnamon raisin, the plain bagel there from Purity, and inside is the tuna from Brunswick with the sun-dried tomato and basil. And I stirred fry that, draw out some of the moisture, made it nice and dry because you have a nice soft bagel here. And then also we have an egg white omelette with some Kobe aged cheese inside. So it's a very healthy breakfast and you'll enjoy it.
Okay, so it's time for me to dig in. Come on, Tony. Come on, don't leave me standing. I am not going to leave you standing. All right, let me try some of this.
I'll try the omelet.
All right. Egg white is supposed to be healthy for you, isn't it?
Well, it is supposed to be, but you know, some just don't like the taste of yolk. But it's lighter on the stomach as well.
That's good. I'm trying to get some of the cheese that's kind of hidden in there.
Very tasty.
Thank you very much. And the good thing about this breakfast, you can actually eat the bagel with the knife and fork as well. So you don't have to eat it like a sandwich.
I'm grateful for you for saying that because I was looking at it thinking I would like to grab it with my hand, but maybe I should eat it with the knife. So what I'm going to do, right? This is what I'm going to do because I want to get
take it off.
right to the matter right now.
I'm just going to take a little bit of the tuna.
So like I said before, the bagels are nice and sweet. The tuna has a nice acidity to it with the sun-dried tomatoes and the basil. Yeah.
That's good. And I have the cinnamon bagel, so it's got a little bit of sweet behind it.
And that spice as well.
Fabulous. Thank you guys so much. David, thank you so much. Chef Tosh, thank you so much. Tony stuffing her face, which is a good thing on Breakfast in Barbados. And that's it for the show. Blessings.
Mornings here.